Alright, this is going to be the tutorial for the final steps of finishing up your digital painting. At this point now, we've colored the cube, we've shaded the sphere, and then we shaded the cylinder. Okay, the very last step is I want you to refine your entire drawing again. Okay, but yeah, I want you to refine it without using the outline layer. Alright, so we're gonna actually make it look almost exactly like the photograph without the outlines. Alright, for like the assignment though, I want you to get up to at least this point in your drawing. Okay, but if you do get done early though, I want you to clean it up and refine it, have it work out without the outline. Alright, and the way that we're going to do that is, we're going to create a completely new layer, and we're just going to title this layer details. That way we know what layer is details. So you just want to make sure the details, that layer is above all of those areas that you colored. I have the cylinder, sphere, cube, cast shadows, and the background all below it. And for the details, we're just going to use this to, clean and refine the drawing. So I'm just going to resize my brush using the 2 bracket keys. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to use the more hard edge brush. So I'm clicking on this brush here on the brush window. And all I'm doing is just cleaning up the picture. So you can see these little spots right and colored in. So I'm just going to color it in right now. And I might actually want to change this opacity to 30, at least for this part, so I can clean it up a little bit at a time. And all I'm doing right now is just cleaning up the drawing. I'm changing this back to 100. That's all I'm doing. So I'm just going over the lines again and just refining it. You have all the big areas already colored, so this is just, going over it again. And it's almost the same exact principle with, painting, where, you're just, laying down the big values, the shapes, and then afterward you're going to, go back into the details, and you're going to clean and refine. And, you really want to take your time on this part. Honestly, this part of your the picture, I'm clicking on the brush, so I gotta eyedrop this gray here. You don't have to use these grays anymore. Everything should be, all your colors you're gonna need are already on the picture. So when you're refining the image, you always want to use the eyedropper on those areas that you're already colored in. You don't have to figure out what those colors are again. It's already on there for you. So that's one additional benefit to do digital painting on the computer, is you don't have to mix paints over again. I'm gonna eyedrop this cache out. You don't have to mix paints over again when you're doing the refining. It's all there for you. So it does save a lot of steps with the digital painting. And that's kind of the reason why I prefer doing this method of painting as opposed to using traditional paints. But I mean, the one difference though when you're doing the digital painting as opposed to traditional painting is you don't have that that painter look to it, unless if you're using one of those painter programs. Photoshop's it's a decent program for painting, but ideally it's not really the best program, but it's one of the better ones to use though. So I'm just cleaning and refining. I'm gonna go over these edges. I might actually want to create more of a gradient with that part, so I'm gonna change it back to the fuzzy brush, change this opacity to 30, and I might add a little bit of a lighter tone here. Add that little detail over here. And same thing like right here, you have more of like the shadows. And I'm just using, you know, the eyedrop tool. I'm constantly using the eyedrop tool to do this blending. Alright, you know, it does take some getting used to use the eyedrop tool, but it's, you know, it's just pretty much shading. That's all it is. Alright, so I'll work on this a little bit more. This effect, and then we use like a little bit of the darks here because, you know, I got a really dark shadow under that part. Same thing one under the ball too. So you want to add those little details to it. It really does help the drawing a lot more. Alright, I'm going to go back to the hard edge again. And, you know, all I'm doing is just cleaning this up. So, I mean, you get the idea. Using the eyedrop tool and just cleaning and refining your edges. Alright, this is going to take a while for me to do, but you want to keep cleaning and refining your edges, and it should, I mean, by the time you're done, it should end up like looking like this. One that's already finished, or that I spent a little bit more time on. It should end up looking like that when you're done cleaning it up. You know, I'm just using the ethereal opacity. If you're trying to get more of like kind of like a fuzzy look, kind of like how that, you know, I'm just doing the 30%. I'm just going over the edges. So I don't know if you want to go for that more crisp, clean look, or, you know, having more of the fuzzy look to it. I actually like the fuzzy look, so you might want to just keep it at 30% and just refine your edges. Alright, but I mean, that's, you know, your final steps for the for your digital painting. If you get far along with this, just gonna refine it, and it should get up to the point where it's gonna look like this. So I also redid the whole background too, put a gradient, or, you know, made my own gradient. So some of you are curious how I made that gradient. I'm going to just show you. I'm going to go back to my background layer. That way I don't have to rework that whole part. So I'm going to lock this layer. I'm going to get a real big brush. And I'm going to have my dark value over here. Oh, maybe that brush is a little too big. That's a good size brush. So I actually want to change this to the fuzzy brush. So you want to have that nice blending going on. So, you know, I'm just going to start with the dark here. And, you know, just move on to the gray. So I'm going to use this darker gray over here. And then the lighter gray should be like around here. So I'm just following what's, you know, what's in that picture. And just like, you know, how you did the ball, you know, I'm actually making this brush a little bit bigger. You're just going to blend those colors using the 30 opacity. I mean, I already have it set to 30 opacity, but you want to use that to just blend the edges. Alright, that's how you're going to get that look, that gradient look that you want.